Hi everyone. So in this video I want to show you how to create the handle with a complex surface on top of it, which is going to be a solid. There are two different ways of doing it. This is going to be the more difficult way, or the sort of lengthier way, and not as complete. If you don't want to do it this way, just skip to the second video. What I've got here is a multi-body part, as you all know by now, and I'm going to hide one of these. That's the tang, and just leave this bit and just explain what I've done here. So I've thought the simplest way to get a taper in here, because this is going to be used for a mold, is to actually extrude this with a taper in it. So let's just delete this feature, and I'm going to get rid of these sketches for now, just so that they're out of the way. We only need one sketch, and I'm just going to drag this up to roll back to that. And we're going to get rid of these planes as well. We don't need them either. Just for now, I'll show you how to start that from the beginning. So there are my two sketches. I'll show you how I created that one. But this one here is pretty simple. It's a series of arcs, which are all tangent to one another. And they are fully defined using positions or sizes. So that one there is a size. That one there is a position, and then the rest of, well, that's position, position, position. And because they're all tangent to one another, they can't do otherwise than what we have here. Okay, so that's the base sketch. I've extruded this using the mid plane, so that it goes top and bottom the same dimension. I want this to be fairly small, because it just needs to be like a starting point to get our taper in place. And then make sure it's not merged. Give it a 4-degree taper. Okay, so what do we have here? We've got an extrude which goes top and bottom. You can see that like that point there is not directly above this one. So that's going to affect some of the things we do, like where we place the planes. So the strategy basically is to create a series of planes that are parallel to this right plane, and then put the same sketch on that plane. So we're going to use one sketch, just one sketch, and we're going to replicate it 8 times. So that's the sketch there. And at the moment, it's not sitting on any kind of plane whatsoever. So let's show you how to get the planes in place. So I'm going to go to right plane, use the control button, drag a plane out, and without doing anything else, just type in however many planes you want. So I want 4, and I'm going to say enter, and then I've got my 4 planes. So these planes are going to be the places that we put our replicated sketches. So let's just arrange those planes first. So this first plane, I'm going to edit it, and instead of it being a dimension away from the right plane, I'm going to say parallel, and then choose a second reference, which will be this point. Now you're going to make sure that, well, you won't have the problem, but that you choose the right point. I could have chosen the sketch point by mistake. So that's the first plane, and I want this last plane to be at the end. So I'm going to edit it, do the same thing, parallel, select the end point. That's that one there. Will it give it to me? If it doesn't, just put your filter on, go like that, and then switch it off again. And then the 2 mid planes, oops, these 2 here, you can just edit them. So let's say that first one, where is it? So here, I'm going to just grab this dimension and just drag this to where I want it to be. So about 49 or so, get it to snap. Good. And then this mid one, the same thing. I want that one to come right to about there. Okay, so those are our 4 planes. Let's just see W. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Now that sketch there needs to be on this plane here, but since it's above the plane in the sequentially in the design tree, I need to get it to be below, so I'm just going to drag it to be below the plane. There we go, and then I can just click on that sketch, say edit sketch plane, come to our design tree, select the plane, and there we go, it's on the plane. Alright, so let's hide all of those planes for now. Have a look at the sketch. I'm going to edit it. So what I did originally is I chose that line there, that edge there, and just converted it. Let's do that. I'm going to delete this one, and then this is simply it seems to be missing a plane. Let me show you what it is. It's a center line. I'm going to put another center line in here because that's going to be useful in a second. And that arc there is, there it is. It is symmetric about that center line, so that these fillets here are also symmetric. So I mirrored them. Okay, so I want to control what the fillet size is. I want to be able to control the height of this item. So I'm going to go from that line to the top of this by holding the shift button down. And it'll be 1.6. Let's just round that off. And then the last thing I want to do is I want to make sure that this fillet meets the plane. You can't see it at the moment. Meets that plane there at a tangent. But since the sketch is not, it's kind of meeting that point, I can't use this line because that would not give me 4 degrees if I copied it. So I've got to draw that in. So just go to center line, and on either side just draw a center line, put an angle in of 4 degrees, and then grab this line, that arc, and this one, and make them tangent to one another. That should fully define your sketch. Okay, now we want to use the sketch top and bottom, so I'm going to copy that bit across that line. That's why I put that line in. So if you copy directly now, it's going to put the copy in the wrong place. So select mirror entities first, mirror about that plane, and then go to entities and mirror it. Okay, cool. So that means whatever I do to the top in terms of dimensions will change the bottom. We'll see how that works in a minute. So I can exit this now. Before you do that, we don't want both sketches active, so we want to make this one into construction lines so that just the top part of the sketch is the one we use. Okay, now this is the genius of it. This one sketch we're going to copy 4 times, and then we're going to copy it another 4 times later on. So if you go into the design tree, you select the sketch, Control C, select the plane you want to put it on, Control V, select the next plane, Control V, select the next plane, Control V. There are my 4 sketches. All I have to do is double click on each one of them and re-establish some relation. So I want that point to be piercing that edge, make pierce, and that point to be piercing this one. Try that again, make pierce, and then you need to make sure that the bottom does the same so that it also goes black. You only need to do it once. So make sure that the entire sketch is fully defined and you're good to go. Okay, so I'm probably going to speed this up in the video. Edit it. It's 3 steps. 1 is to make pierce. Ooh. 2 is also to make pierce. And then the third one is to do the same for this bottom sketch. And that's it. Since we've got our heights in place, we can change them. We can change them now, actually. Let's just make this one a bit bigger. 3 millimeters. There we go. All right, and then the last one, edit it. 1, 2, and 3. Right. Okay, so 3 sketches in place. Now, if you wanted to, you could put a center control spline in if you want, but I'm not going to do that, just to shorten things. We're going to use the lofted base command and select these 4 sketches in the same place each time so that you don't get your wires crossed. If you do get them crossed, you can uncross them pretty easily. All right, so that's the loft so far, but it's not good enough. We need to be able to snap that loft to these planes here. So come to guide curves, right click selection manager. You'll get this little button. It might default to one of these other ones, but you need to make sure it says select group because we need to select just certain parts. So it's going to be that edge, this edge, and this last third edge. I think they're just 3. Make sure it's just the 3 you need and then say OK. So that has snapped one side. We do it again. Selection manager. Grab an edge. Ooh, 1. Let's make sure it goes purple. 2. And oh, that's the wrong one. Just watch out for that. So just delete that one. That's top one. Did I grab the first one correctly? It seems not. So let's start that again. Selection manager. It's this one. There we go. 1, 2. You've got to keep your eyes peeled that you're doing the right thing and say OK. There we go. It's snapped to it. All right, so that's pretty much it as far as the top goes. Now, I'm not going to, I could resolve this. What you have to do is you have to slice a bit of this out and then get it to do a swept boss around it. But I'm going to assume that if you use this method, you're actually just going to add like a button onto the end, which will interfere with this and then eliminate the problem of ending this bit. If you want to know how to do that, I can show you, but for the sake of brevity, I'm not going to do it. Now, what we need to do here is we need to copy these sketches again and replace them on those planes. So what you do is grab sketch 3, Control C, on plane 1, Control V. Sketch 11, Control C, on plane 2, Control V. So each one you can see it corresponds to the plane. Control C, on plane 3, Control V. Sketch 13, Control C, on plane 4, Control V. Okay, and then go into each one of those sketches. You unfortunately have to re-establish the pierces. You shouldn't have to do, if you've done the sketch correctly in the beginning, you shouldn't have to do anything else. So this is the only bit of hard work in this whole thing, is doing those. And we need one more. And make pierce. Okay, so now the genius of this is if you select the bottom of the sketch, select chain, and we make that not for construction, and we select the top of the sketch, and we make that, let's just make sure is that now construction. Yes, that's construction geometry. We can control the bottom sketch using the top sketch without adding more dimensions. So let's make this a bit smaller at the bottom on this one. All right, so I'm going to do that with each one of these. Edit the sketch. I think we might be able to get away with just one make pierce on the bottom. No, I think we're going to have to do, unfortunately, all 3. So that one on that line, make pierce. There we go. Okay. So that's the same thing, and then once again you select the top chain, select chain and make that for construction, and then you select the bottom chain, or you can just, might be easier just to drag select. So grab all of these. Right, just make sure you don't make one of these construction lines into a solid line. So they've got 2 at least, and let's do the 3rd one. I'm going to grab them all first and just make them into solids. Grab all of these and make them into construction lines. All right, okay, so there seems to be a bit of a conflict there. I'm not sure why that is. 1, 2, make pierce. I wonder. Ah, there we go. Okay, so there were too many in there. All right, so now the genius of this is we can make this one a whole lot bigger. So we can make the bottom of this particular one different. Okay. Without redrawing the sketches. So one last time. Grab all of these. Make them into for construction. Grab all the bottom ones. Get rid of the for construction. Make pierce. Ah, come on. And one more. All right, and then we can increase that if we want. Okay, then it's the same procedure. So you loft the 3. Just go to lofted base. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4 with guide curves. Group. I need to find. There it is. 1, 2, 3. Say yes. Okay, so that's 1. Oh, I seem to have missed something there. So let's just go back in here and get another selection manager. 1, 2, and 3. Say yes. Okay, and then that's it. That's all you do. So at the end, we're just going to put top plane. We're just going to put a sketch in here. I'm going to assume that you're going to do something like this. And then you can extrude this mid plane. Okay, so that's as far as we're going to go. That might need to be altered a little bit, but that's the general idea. All right, next video will be a lot simpler.